Why have you placed the medals and photos in a special frame?
To keep them, to preserve them, and that is done professionally, so there's a little bit of air between the photos and the glass to preserve them, and I want that kept for family history, which I believe is very, very important. So we need to keep it as best we can, and I think that is quite a good way to do it.
Why did your father join the Light Horse Regiment?
Well, because he was a good rider. He thought, well, I can ride a horse. Of course he could. So I suppose that's how he thought that way, I would think. I think some soldiers did take their horses with them, but not many. He did not. And of course they could not bring their horses back to Australia. It wasn't allowed.
Why was your father in Italy during the war, and how did he get captured?
He was flying a plane out of Egypt over the Mediterranean Sea, and the plane was shot into the ocean by an Italian submarine. There were 12 people in the plane, and he was quite lucky because he was at the back of the plane, and the bullets hit the front of the plane. Of the 12 people in the plane, only the 4 in the back survived. My dad was one of them.
And was picked up by a submarine and taken to a prisoner of war camp in Italy.
In Sulmona, which is outside of Rome.
He spent 2 years in it and then escaped.
And they were very hungry and underweight from the time that they spent in the prison camp.
How long did you serve in Vietnam?
Went over twice, 66, 67 and back in 1969.
Why is the RSL so important in Australian towns?
The RSL is important because it reminds the local population of all those that served their country during war, and it also looks after the ex-service men and women who are in the district.
Today I was able to bring in my great-great-grandfather's medals, and I also bring in his replica medals. This is the 1914 to 1915 Star. This is the British War Medal, and this is the Victory Medal. I'm very proud to wear these medals on Anzac Day.
Bill, you were in the peacekeeping force. How is this different to war?
When a peacekeeping force is called to a country, it's normally called to a war-torn country which can't seek peace by itself, so it needs outside intervention from the rest of the world. And a military force from the United Nations goes in, provides a platform for peace and a platform for elections and government to be formed within the country, and then the people of the country then govern afterwards and hopefully live in peace afterwards.
Namibia got past its troubles. How does this make you feel?
I'm very proud to have been a part of something that allowed a country to have peace after a very long period of war. It fills me with pride to see the Namibian flag flown every 4 years at the Olympic Games, and to know that our country participated in that process for Namibia.
Australians have a great reputation of war and peacekeeping. Why is this?
I think Australians are very good at what they do as soldiers. They can be very aggressive when needed, but also during peacetime operations they are very compassionate. You'll very often see photographs of Australian peacekeepers with their firearms shouldered, reaching out to help other people in the country, children and women and men, to help them in a difficult situation. I'm very honoured to have been asked to come to speak to you today.
It's been my pleasure to talk to you all.
Class is to be commended for representing yourselves and your school the way that you do. Thank you.